of our Hawaii viewers viewing from home or observing on the beaches, we have 45 seconds till our men's splashdown. I personally, along with my wife and kids, are having trouble staying in our seats, as we are very excited.
We interrupt your programming. This is not a test. Local authorities have activated the emergency broadcast system to transmit this message. The following message is authorized to be transmitted at the request of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. About 30 minutes ago, 30 people have been showing up at hospitals appearing to be flu-ish looking and showing flu-like symptoms. This virus is highly contagious and any infected should not be approached at this time. While it is not severe, this may change. These infected can be identified by their lack or loss of appetite, pale faces, reddish eyes, coughing, sneezing, vomiting, fatigue, and dismissive behavior. If you see someone infected, get away from them and permit them to a nearby hospital and disinfect everything they touched. This message was transmitted at the request of local authorities in your area.
Of course, it says pancakes on the outside, but there's a lot more on the inside.
We interrupt your programming. This is not a test. Local authorities have activated the emergency broadcast system to transmit this message. The following message is authorized to be transmitted at the request of the Honolulu Police Department. The virus, now named Model 7843, has infected more of Honolulu and is expected to spread to other cities in 2 hours. The Apollo 11 crew has been successfully taken back to shore and has been quarantined in an undisclosed location at this time as to not get them infected or spread any possible alien viruses they may have gotten from the moon. Remember to stay away from the infected and stay disinfected. Due to the fast-spreading infection, 911 and emergency services have been bombarded with calls from people with infected friends, which has caused many 911 outages. At this time, 911 is down. Please use the non-emergency number 808-935-3311. This message was transmitted at the request of local authorities in your area.
This is Lana from Breaking Global News, bringing you the latest updates on news around the world. For our first story, the Apollo 11 crew has landed and have been quarantined. It's heartwarming to me to see our astronauts safe and sound. Details of why or when they will be released is unknown right now, but another story that Jim can't stop telling me about is the United States has decided it will start bringing home its men from Vietnam starting July, a very happy win for the anti-war hippies. And, another note's coming from the US again, a new infection is spreading in Hawaii. Some conspiracies have thought these are aliens, but I think that's stupid. We are alone in this universe. So what's that, Jim? A broadcast of the emergency broadcast system is trying to come on air? Oh, well, sorry folks, we have to cut this segment short cause of this broadcast. Please stand by.
We interrupt your programming. This is not a test. Local authorities have activated the emergency broadcast system to transmit this message. The following message is authorized to be transmitted at the request of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention and Hawaii Emergency Management Agency. The infection has garnered new symptoms. This includes skin irritation, muscle spasms, sweating, rapid eye movement, multiple personality disorder, and alien hand syndrome. These infected are acting strange, as if they are fighting for their bodies. These infected are not be approached and should be kept away from uninfected. This message was transmitted at the request of state officials in your area. We interrupt your programming. This is not a test. Local authorities have activated the emergency broadcast system to transmit this message. The following message is authorized to be transmitted at the request of the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency. Model 7843 is now statewide, and the infected are now falling over and going into comas. The Apollo 11 crew was talking to a CDC official, but then fell into a coma. They are being checked right as this broadcast is being issued. Do not go near the infected and stay indoors. This message was transmitted at the request of state officials in your area. We interrupt your programming. This is not a test. Local authorities have activated the emergency broadcast system to transmit this message. The following message is authorized to be transmitted at the request of the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency. The infected have woken up from their comas with black eyes. It has been discovered that the Apollo 11 crew is infected with model 7843, and the ship was also infected. It is confirmed this virus came from the moon, and this is an alien infection. The aliens have taken over the bodies of the infected and have started rioting and looting. These infected are no longer considered human. These aliens are hostile. Repeat, these aliens are hostile. They have extreme eyesight, speed, hearing, strength, and taste. These infected have black eyes, and is how they are identified. If you encounter one, run or defend yourself. Barricade your home and defend yourself if they break in. This message was transmitted at the request of state officials in your area. We interrupt your programming. This is not a test. Local authorities have activated the emergency broadcast system to transmit this message. The following message is authorized to be transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The infected have now entered California and are attacking citizens as we speak. If these infected get their bodily fluids on you, you will become one. These are from an alien virus that came from the moon and are attacking the human race. Transmission methods, such as waterborne, airborne, are not known at this time. The only known transmissions are bloodborne, coughing, sneezing, and touching infected surfaces. Do not try to fight these aliens unless they break into your home. These aliens are likely to take over the East Coast in the next 3 hours. Take shelter now. This message was transmitted at the request of federal and military authorities in your area. We interrupt your programming. This is not a test. Local authorities have activated the emergency broadcast system to transmit this message. The following message is authorized to be transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Infected humans, taken over by aliens, have destroyed all humans in the East Coast and are going west. Hawaii has also fallen. The United States are taking soldiers out of Vietnam, and Army reserves are ordered to report to duty. The American soldiers in Vietnam are to be joined with their families, but if this gets out of hand, they will help the fight. These aliens are expected to spread across half the U.S. in 28 hours. Do not go to Hawaii or the East Coast, as you will die. This message was transmitted at the request of federal and military authorities in your area.
Okay Sarah, this shit is crazy as hell. Oh, I forgot we were broadcasting. I apologize for my language, but, for this next news segment, the contents might be dark, disgusting or disturbing. Please do not let any young children under 13 hear this news segment. Your discretion is highly advised. Okay, warning out the way, let's get on with this. As some infected, which fucking I'm gonna call aliens, are eating the people they kill, as it helps them regenerate on injuries they sustained. This is mostly done by near-death aliens. The states infected include Washington, California, Oregon, Nevada, Arizona, Idaho, Hawaii, and Utah. Washington, California, Hawaii, and Oregon are completely dead. No human is present there anymore. This is so fucking disturbing. We just had a fucking scare where we thought the world was gonna get blown to hell by Cuban nukes 7 years ago. Now fucking aliens. This shit is messed up. Bullshit, an EBS broadcast. Well, please stand by for this message.
We interrupt your programming. This is not a test. Local authorities have activated the emergency broadcast system to transmit this message. The following message is authorized to be transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The infected/aliens are eating other humans that they kill, some just to eat, but most to regenerate. The aliens have the ability to regenerate once by consuming humans. This has made this situation worse, and Vietnam soldiers are reporting to duty to combat the aliens. States affected include Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada, Iowa, Arizona, Hawaii, Idaho, and Utah. This infection continues to spread. War in Vietnam is at a ceasefire, and the Soviet Union, UK, France, and Italy have sent soldiers to help the US as they hope this will kill the aliens. Stay tuned and take shelter in a bunker at a moment's notice. This message was transmitted at the request of federal and military authorities in your area. We interrupt your programming. This is not a test. Local authorities have activated the emergency broadcast system to transmit this message. The following message is authorized to be transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The alien/infected are spreading fast and has already infected the states of Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and New Mexico. Due to the fact that the aliens can regenerate after consuming a human, it has been proven very difficult to combat them. The President of the United States, his representatives, immediate family, and those in the line of succession are being transported to an undisclosed location. This may become a national crisis if not handled. This is almost a semi-nationwide emergency. All residents in unaffected states should get to an underground bunker now. Do not try to pick up relatives from a nursing home or school. These facilities are being evacuated and the civilians in them are being transported into bunkers as this broadcast is being sent out. Do not delay or take this as a hoax. Evacuate or take shelter now. Your life is in danger. Do not delay. There is a current threat to your life and family. This message was transmitted at the request of federal and military authorities in your area. We interrupt your programming. This is not a test. Local authorities have activated the emergency broadcast system to transmit this message. The following message is authorized to be transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The infection has spread throughout half the United States. The Soviet and foreign soldiers have died during the fight. The Soviet Union, NATO, South African, and East Asian countries have come together to form the Continental Extraterrestrial Invasion Prevention Agency, or CEIPA. The CEIPA has sent troops to the US to combat these aliens. The infection will likely go national in the next few hours. Canada, Mexico, Cuba have all joined the fight against the aliens and are now CEIPA member states. They have closed their borders and airports so the infection doesn't spread, and they are only available for military use. Nuclear weapon usage is declared on Hawaii, and sterilization strikes will begin in 2 hours. The UN and CEIPA justify this as no humans are left on the island, and these aliens are hostile. Local authorities are leading civilians to fallout shelters, as these shelters are tough and will be hard to breach by aliens. We hope this all will stop or slow the infection. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are now working on a vaccine or cure. It is unknown what will happen if a cure is developed and aliens breathe it in. Stay tuned to media outlets such as this station for more news. This station will now go into wartime mode and will only broadcast EBS broadcasts and news on only this situation. This message was transmitted at the request of federal and military authorities in your area. We interrupt your programming. This is not a test. Local authorities have activated the emergency broadcast system to transmit this message. The following message is authorized to be transmitted at the request of the United States government. This is not a test. The infection is slightly slowed due to the help of the Continental Extraterrestrial Invasion Prevention Agency and medicine that helps prolong the inevitable body takeover. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have not found a cure yet, but are working on one. These aliens are unrelenting and are fight hard against the CEIPA. The nuclear bombs have dropped on Hawaii and all life there has been vaporized. Hawaii is completely unrecognizable and no one is permitted to go there. The sterilization strikes are being questioned on whether they should be used on the mainland United States, but it is mostly like that they will not. Alaska and all of the U.S. territories are unaffected as of now. All residents hearing this message, get into an underground bunker or sturdy building now. These aliens will show no mercy to you. They will not hesitate to end your life. All schools and nursing homes in the United States, including Alaska and its territories, have been evacuated and sheltered in underground bunkers. So your children and loved ones are safe, and you do not need to worry. Do not try to go to them as they are safe and worry about yourself. A national quarantine is in effect. No one is permitted to be outside before 7 a.m. and after 7 p.m. Do not ignore this message, evacuate now, or take shelter immediately. This message was transmitted at the request of federal and military authorities in your area. We interrupt your programming. This is not a test. Local authorities have activated the emergency broadcast system to transmit this message. The following message is authorized to be transmitted at the request of the Continental Extraterrestrial Invasion Prevention Agency. Very few states remain uninfected. Alaska, Delaware, and Maine are the only uninfected states left. In the U.S., the CEIPA is having trouble preventing the spread. A cure is 4% complete. Vaccines are proving effective at slowing the body takeover. If you get infected, you are encouraged to commit suicide, as this will stop aliens from taking you over and making you be a threat to those around you and commit crimes against humanity. If you are caught trying to leave the country, you will be killed on sight. All unofficial ships will be sunken, and all unofficial aircraft will be shot down. Only aircraft and ships that other government or the U.S. confirmed have been sent out for a reason will be allowed. Unconfirmed ships and aircraft, including civilian ones, will be sunken and shot down. We are choosing to do these actions to prevent the virus leaving the U.S. or more entering. It is likely this virus will spread to the rest of the mainland United States in the next 2 hours. This message was transmitted at the request of federal and military authorities in your area. We apologize for the interruption in broadcasting, but the President of the United States has deemed the current ongoing emergency as a national crisis, and it is a top priority for this message to be sent to the public. Please stand by for a message from the emergency broadcast system. We interrupt our program at the request of the White House. This is the emergency broadcast system. All normal broadcasting has been discontinued during this emergency. This is station WSTW. This station will continue to broadcast, furnishing news, official information, and instruction as soon as possible for the northern section of Delaware. If you are not in the northern section of Delaware, tune to a station furnishing for your area. I repeat. We interrupt our program at the request of the White House. This is the emergency broadcast system. All normal broadcasting has been discontinued during this emergency. This station will continue to broadcast, furnishing news, official information, and instruction as soon as possible for the northern section of Delaware. If you are not in the northern section of Delaware, tune to a station furnishing information for your area. Do not use the telephone. The telephone lines should be kept open for official use. The emergency broadcast system has been activated to keep you informed. To repeat, this is station WSTW. This station will continue to broadcast official information and instruction for the northern section of Delaware. If you are in the northern section of Delaware, keep tuned to this station for further emergency information. It is important that you listen carefully to announcements only on the station broadcasting information for your area.
Hello, my fellow Americans. I am speaking on behalf of the President as he is dead. Unfortunately, due to the severity of the situation, his safe spot, which he was transported to in an undisclosed location, has been invaded by these alien creatures, and he has become one of them. Everyone in there nearly died, but made a safe escape. Vice President is being elected to the new president for the time being, as the situation is getting way out of hand. The CEIPA, a newfound organization by continents and world leaders, is having trouble mitigating the situation as these aliens are able to take over bodies and have fluent manipulation of voices. So that means you could hear a message from the president and you wouldn't even know that it's not him, because aliens have invaded his body. Although there is a way to detect that it's not the president or anyone, their voices are slightly deeper and more groggier than the original person's voice. While this may be hard to detect and differentiate, it's been helpful to us so that we could use it against them. But with that said, some CEIPA soldiers have been manipulated into doing stuff that would harm our military front. The situation is getting bad. Nuclear weapon usage has been questioned, and 3 of the world leaders from the Soviet Union, Canada, and the US have not given consent for nuclear weapon usage. Canada has advised that if we use nuclear weapons, then it may cause more damage to our military front, so we have decided against it for the time being. These aliens have breached the Canada-Mexico border of the US. Oh God. The sights are terrifying, but no matter how scared I may seem, or anyone else in the world, us Americans will pull through. Now, since these aliens have invaded humanity's bodies, then that means they have our strength, so they do not have crazy, overly strength bodies, while they do have more faster bodies than humans, and they are more strong. They cannot do stuff like pick up a car and throw it, or bust down a fallout shelter, which is why we advise you to get them one. Many figures have died due to these aliens. I have to pass this over to another representative. This is just too much for me. You know what? End the broadcast. Send it back to the emergency broadcast system.
We apologize for the interruption in broadcasting, but the President of the United States has deemed the current ongoing emergency as a national crisis, and it is a top priority for this message to be sent to the public. Please stand by for a message from the emergency broadcast system. We interrupt our program at the request of the White House. This is the emergency broadcast system. All normal broadcasting has been discontinued during this emergency. This is station WSTW. This station will continue to broadcast, furnishing news, official information, and instruction as soon as possible for the northern section of Delaware. If you are not in the northern section of Delaware, tune to a station furnishing for your area. I repeat. We interrupt our program at the request of the White House. This is the emergency broadcast system. All normal broadcasting has been discontinued during this emergency. This station will continue to broadcast, furnishing news, official information, and instruction as soon as possible for the northern section of Delaware. If you are not in the northern section of Delaware, tune to a station furnishing information for your area. Do not use the telephone. The telephone lines should be kept open for official use. The emergency broadcast system has been activated to keep you informed. To repeat, this is station WSTW. This station will continue to broadcast official information and instruction for the northern section of Delaware. If you are in the northern section of Delaware, keep tuned to this station for further emergency information. It is important that you listen carefully to announcements only on the station broadcasting information for your area.
My fellow Americans, this is not a test. Almost everyone in the presidential line of succession is dead, and the aliens have nearly swept through all of Canada and Mexico. The Canadian president is dead. The Mexican president is dead. Well, my heart goes out to them. America and the remaining government officials in Canada are teaming together to try to preserve Canada. I am the designated survivor, and I will be going into office shortly. I am also the farthest underground that I can be. Almost to the point where that it would be difficult to send out EBS broadcasts. Sorry for my stuttering and my panting. We nearly died. It is expected that these aliens will spread across the entire world in the next 5 hours. And if they take a hold of Canada and Mexico, then we have no doubt that they will breeze through South America in about a day, then take the rest of the world. Well, even if that is the outcome, humanity will persevere. We will pull through and take back our planet. This ends my message. Stay safe during this time of crisis.
We apologize for the interruption in broadcasting, but the President of the United States has deemed the current ongoing emergency as a national crisis, and it is a top priority for this message to be sent to the public. Please stand by for a message from the emergency broadcast system. Stand by. The text-to-speech voice is being applied to the emergency broadcast system as everyone in the presidential line of succession is dead, all except the designated survivor, who is not speaking as he is in an undisclosed location, and speaking over the emergency broadcast system would put him in grave danger. We interrupt your programming. This is not a test. Local authorities have activated the emergency broadcast system to transmit this message. The following message is authorized to be transmitted at the request of the United States government. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. This message contains info on a global crisis that may be hard to accept or comprehend. The alien virus, identified as Module 7843, has spread to every country of the world, and governments are collapsing as world leaders are being infected. The outcome of humanity is uncertain. No cure is available. The only cure is suicide. If you get infected, kill yourself immediately, or if you want to opt out painfully, leave your shelter and await your death. If you end up surviving, you may be the new preserver of humanity. Goodbye forever, and good luck to all that wish to stay behind. Goodbye, and God bless America.